Hello everybody, I'm back with another video. If you're new to my channel, then welcome. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, then please do. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a review, and the review I'm going to be and the TV show I'm going to be talking about is Heartbreak High Season 2. So I'm going to be saying my thoughts on each characters, then I say my thoughts on the season, and then that'll be it. So before I start with the video, I want to say that I'm sorry if I'm a bit all over the place today. I was not planning to film, but I have a bit of free time, so I said why not. But I already had the review written up. I just had to see when I had the time to do it, and I thought, why not now? And I have not been that well recently, so that's why I haven't filmed. Today, I've been having a really bad bellyache. Right now it's okay, and I had medication before I started filming. I've been having a really bad bellyache and headache the last few days, but right now I'm not feeling as bad because I had medication not long ago. So yeah, but let's start. So recently, one of my favorite shows, Heartbreak High, came out with season 2. Oh yeah, I did that. Okay, so the first character I'm going to be talking about is Anne-Marie. I feel like Anne-Marie deserved way better. I understand that she's the main character, but she was treated so badly when she was just trying to be a better person. I like how she said in the end that the reason why she wanted to join the school campaign is to prove that she's a better person, and the way of her doing that is being okay with the fact that Quinny is the one that ended up winning. Something that I see about the show is that Anne-Marie gets treated very badly, when sometimes she's not the only one in question who's done something wrong. For example, when the voicemail came out, so when people heard the voicemail, the recording, it was her voice, Queenie's voice, and Hubbard's voice, but the only one that got blamed was Anne-Marie. Like, I love my girl Queenie and I like Harper, but I feel like Anne-Marie gets a lot, and I don't like that. I like the storyline of her getting an abortion. That was a nice storyline, and her ending up being pregnant. That was a really interesting storyline when she was in the bath, and yeah, I like that scene. And Queenie helped Anne-Marie dig up the feelings, and Anne-Marie literally says the word "we," but nope, it's her picture and she's the one who gets blamed. I understand why the show does this, because Bird Psycho is targeting her, so I understand why she gets blamed, and she's the main character. But I feel like she's the one who gets a lot of the punishment compared to the other characters. So a lot of the other characters, they just get a slap on the wrist. So the next character I'm going to talk about is Quinny, or Quinn. I'm pretty sure it's Queenie. So Queenie is one of my favourite characters in the show, and I love how they show what it's like when she doesn't mask. Did she go too much? I feel like she did when it came to her relationship with Darren. Like, yes, she treated him very badly, but at the end of the day, they shouldn't be surprised because they're the one who told her to stop. So when she's like, oh, it's, you know how exhausting it is, and then Darren's like, well then stop, so they can't be surprised. When she was saying that everything is changing and she has that one thing that she could control, so the fact that she was helping them find birth cycle, and then they're like, oh, you don't have to do that anymore. And now she's being told she can't do that, right? When she got bitten by the snake, I felt really bad for her. And when she got all the news, that was very overwhelming, because she didn't know about the fact that Harper, Cash and Darren were moving in together. And so, yeah, it was a lot to process, which I can totally understand. And I like seeing her and Sasha team up. She was right, they do work well together, and when all the teams were high on the mushroom, and you can see how they're actually acting from Quinny's point of view, because she's the only one that was sober. That was very funny. And I like her speech when she was like, oh, so basically Darren was like, oh, vote for Anne-Marie, and Quinn was like, oh, she's not even here. Vote for the rubbish bin, vote for the lunch lady. vote for the lunch ladies massage, vote for cupcake. That was funny. The fact that there are people who actually voted for all those things is what makes it even funny, because there's actually people who actually put cupcake on the paper, so that's funny to me. The next character I'm going to talk about is Harper. So we see that she's trying very hard to move on from what happened in the last season, and she doesn't want to be seen as this charity case. She ends up dropping the case, and she moves in with Cash and Darren because she's reminded that Cash is 18, so she can have him as like a tenant to the house. I think that's what it is. And I like how Harper helps to convince Woody to let Cash come back to school. I kind of like that we didn't get. I kind of feel like we didn't get that much of Harper in the season compared to the last season, but I do like her as a character. And the next character I'm going to be talking about is Cash. So with Cash, he was one of my favourites from the last season, not just because of him and Darren, but I like the fact that he's asexual. Like, I like that representation. I feel like we're getting more of the awareness of him and Isaac from... So him and Isaac from Heartstopper, they kind of like the same to me, because Isaac is asexual. So when they were talking to his grandma and he was like, oh, he feels like people are always making sacrifices to be with him, like that was a really good scene, because so many people can relate to that, even if you're not ace yourself. I also like how he was the only one who was checking up on Queenie. Like, when she was like, oh, let's hop to it, that was funny. There was a really good scene, and I like how he stood up for Darren. So that was in the scene when they're in the boat. So I like that scene. And I also like the store. I also like how, that was the guy's name was Crook, I think, yeah. So the next character we're talking about is Darren. So we see how they're trying to like not think about sex. And they end up going to Dusty's house, but they wasn't actually looking for Dusty, they were looking for somebody else because they wanted to sleep with the other guy. And so they go to Dusty's house and they end up playing video games and getting high, and Darren almost cheated on Cash. I do like Darren and Cash together, but in a way I'm not surprised that they broke up, because you can see that Darren is very like sexual, like they think about sex a lot. So I'm not surprised that they broke up. Like, you can have a relationship when somebody's asexual and somebody's not, but when they broke up I wasn't surprised. So Darren decides to join Zoe's group because he wants to give up sex to be with Cash, which is like, I like that, it's sweet, but you shouldn't have to give up a part of you to be with someone. And when Cash said that to Darren, I was like, that was very sweet. And Cash is right, you shouldn't have to. Right now we don't know if they're back together, because they did have that talk at the end of the season, so I don't know if they're back together or not, but I'm very excited to see what happens in season 3. The whole Darren and Queenie plotline was very sad, because Darren says to Queenie how the world can't always play by her rules. Like, the world can't always play by the way Queenie wants it to be. And Queenie's like, oh, what do you mean? The world doesn't play by my rules. I'd be playing by your rules. So that was very sad, because you can see that they don't talk for a while, but then they do get back and start talking again. Like, there's a scene when she's like, oh, he's like, there's a scene when Darren's like to Queenie, oh, I miss my jellyfish, or something like that. And Queenie's like, oh, you should find other ways of coping. But I like that whole storyline, because it shows that people will tell you, oh, don't mask, be yourself, but then when you do, they still don't like it. And as an autistic person, I understand that, because I hated masking. Like, it's very exhausting. But when I try to be myself, most people still don't like me. So it's like, you feel like you just can't win. That's why you have to have them special type of people in your life that you don't have to mask. You can just be yourself around them, and that's it. The the way that Damon was so unserious when Malachi came out, because Malachi is sitting there like confused, but Damon is making jokes like, oh, talking about, oh, stop me before I start making a horse joke, basically. I also like Damon and Cash's. I also liked Cash's grandma and how Cash's grandma told Darren about the whole story of how they ended up with a duck. That was very, very funny. So the next character I'll be talking about is Missy. So Missy, I really like her storyline and how she starts to like Spider, but at first it's just a hookup, but then she actually ends up going with him. And their storyline is that he goes down on her, but she goes down on him, but he doesn't go down on her. And she says this to Sasha, and Sasha's like, oh, you must have dreamed him up because I've never heard of a guy not wanting a girl to go down on him. So, and I love how we find out the reason why is because he doesn't get up, but later on she does help him to be able to get up. But yeah, he's like, oh, I can't get up, so that's why. And I think there's a scene, she's like, oh, if you want to laugh or you want to leave, I understand, but she doesn't. They just end up like watching movies on her laptop or something like that. I really like her friendship with Shasha, and I like how supportive they are to each other. And I didn't remember that they dated in the first season, so when she was I was like, oh, okay, I did not remember that, but I found that very interesting. So when she was like, I can tell when you have the like orgasm phase, Sasha said that to Missy, which I found very interesting because I didn't remember that they did. But yeah. You can tell at first she didn't want to be together with him in public, but then they ended up being together because she kissed him in front of everyone. I love her and Malachi's friendship, and when she was like, we're bisexual anthems, I was like, yes, that was a sweet moment. And yeah, I really like her. She's one of my favourite characters. One of my favourite scenes from her was like when Cash, so basically she's like, Cash has gone with Depression Grey, like with a pen or something, and Cash was like, are you flirting with me? And she's like, no, I'm just hot and talking. Like, I love Missy. She's definitely my favourite from season 2. One of my favourites. The next character I'm going to talk about is Spider. / Spencer. Well, his real name is Spencer, but they call him Spider. We get more about him, and you can see that he's definitely getting a redemption arc in the season. There's a scene when Missy comes to Spider's house and she ends up having dinner with his mum, and it makes total sense why Spider's like that, because the mum is. Because when the mum. And she basically says that she hates that she basically says that she hates that he exists, which is sad. Like, oh, I wanted a girl, and he's nothing. Like, basically saying that, oh, because he's a guy, that she was worried that, oh, he would turn out to be like she would get a call saying that, oh, he raped someone, which is sad, because just because there's this stigma that, when it's like people say like all men, for example, like that's a very toxic mindset to give to him. Like, that's very, like, I did not like the mom, but the mom just, I did not like her. Would I say that he's one of my favourites? No, not even close, but I did like the different like perspective of him in the season. The way that the coach used Spider to get his own like personal agenda was very I really like him and Missy together. Missy liked I think Spider needed Missy because Spider was a jerk and Missy helped him to change. But I've wished that the reason why he wasn't changing wasn't just for Missy, because as soon as Missy was like, oh, I'm not interested in you anymore or whatever, he went back to being a jerk. So I wished he was like being a good person to be a good person, not just because Missy told him to or Missy wanted him to. But yeah, that's how I mostly feel about Spider. I don't think it's fair that people like Anne-Marie get so much hate when there are people like Spider that people kind of just like brush under the mat. They're like, yep, let me just brush what he did under the mat. Because Spider's still a dick. Like, did he go on me? Yeah, he's still a dick. And I've seen people ranking the second season and they put Spider high just because of season 2. I'm like, no, he's still a bad character. He's still a bad person. Yes, he got an redemption arc, that's good for him, but he's still like a bad person. So, the next character I'm going to talk about is Malachi. So, Malachi is one of my favourite in the last season. We get more of him in this season because I like the season with him, the plot line with him and the police, and him having the threesome with Dusty and Harper. We see in the season that he's questioning his sexuality, which I did want, but what I didn't want is the whole what happened with him and Ronan. Like, I did ship them in the beginning, and then episode 5 and onwards happened, and I'm like, no. But so first he sleeps with Anne-Marie after they agreed they're going to be just friends, but that didn't last long. And Darren's reaction when they were like, didn't even last a day. That was funny. They get together and then then he starts having feelings for Ronan and tells Anne-Marie that he wants to be casual. I'm a big fan of his character, but what he did to her was gaslighting. Like, that's not good. He should have just broke up with her and said that, oh, I think I have feelings for men. Like, he shouldn't have gaslighted her like that. That I don't agree with. That was bad. Because she did ask many times, is this something wrong? And he's like, no, everything's fine. He should have told her the truth. So in a way, Malachi can't be surprised about what Anne-Marie did. Does it justify what Anne-Marie did? No, it doesn't, but it explains it though. When Malachi was feeling way happier and he was going to stay, I was like, yay, he's going to stay. But then he saw Ronan and Anne-Marie kissing, and then that's when he was like, no, he's not going to stay anymore. And that was sad. Because you can see like he crossed out the name when he was in Harper's house party. Yeah, he crossed out his name. And him writing the letter to Anne-Marie, which she never got to read because it burned in the fire, that was very sad. So when it was in the locker, it burned. So that was very sad. So I found a TikTok and it basically said what it said, like, oh, I tried, but I don't belong here. And it was very sad because I saw somebody post it on TikTok what the letter said, and yeah, I cried when I read it. So season 3 hasn't been confirmed yet, but right now, if there is a season 3, he might not come back since he's moved away now, but I really like his character. He's definitely one of my favourites. The next character I'm going to be talking about is Sasha. So with Sasha, I have mixed feelings about her because she was very annoying in the last season. But in this season, I didn't mind her. Was she my favourite? No, but she just didn't annoy me as much. My favourite part is when she's like, oh, is it even halal? Like, that was my favourite part. That scene made me laugh, and when Ant replied saying to her, is cow even halal, or something like that. That's very funny, and I can tell that they were making Sasha kind of like the comic relief in this season. I love her and Missy's friendship, and that's basically all I have to say about Sasha. And when Queenie was like, oh, you're just a hypocrite, because it turns out that she eats duck, so she's like, oh, when she's supposed to be a vegan, so she's like, oh, you're just a hypocrite. That was very surprising, but Sasha was okay to me in this season. She's more, and I think people need to stop hating on the actress. Like, I don't like the character either, but the actress is just doing her job, so please stop hating on her. And she seems really sweet, so yeah. The next character, I don't like this person, but the next character I'm going to be talking about is Voss. I don't know how to pronounce him. The coach guy. I don't like him. He was very annoying, and if toxic masculinity, I can't even talk because I'm annoyed. If toxic masculinity was a person, it would be the coach. He was just, the bearing the feeling activities, this season we see a lot more male students are leaving, so really it's like, we should separate the class, like, make more of a class for men, because the other class is more for women or for girls. So we should have more. So he comes in and he's like, okay, he's going to take over. But as I said earlier, or if I didn't, I'm going to say it now. He used his own personal agenda towards Cash, not towards Cash, towards Bidar, and I didn't like that. I'm glad he got arrested in the end, because the face he made when he realised that the building started going on fire. I don't have anything else to say apart from he got what he was coming to him, because I did not like him. Next character I'm going to talk about is Ant. And in this season we see that Ant wants to be the new Dusty, because Dusty has gone to another school. He realised that a lot of the girls don't like him, and Harper says to him that he should just try to be friends with someone. And he tries that, and he ends up falling for Harper. And there's a scene when Harper punches him down after being triggered in the game, and almost cuts off his penis, and that scene was funny. And when he was eating the mushrooms, because he's the first one who ate the mushrooms, that was funny. I could see people saying that they thought him and Malachi would end up together, because Ant seems very fruity, and I think he does. Like, I've seen TikToks and people, and I would have loved him and Ant to be together instead of him and Ronan. So, yeah. And I think that he's very funny. I really like him. The next character I'll be talking about is Zoe. Zoe's a new character that we get in the show. She's Missy's cousin, apart from she's a part of the group that is celibate, but refraining from sex, yeah. Even though I had a feeling that Ronan was Bird's psycho from the beginning, a part of me thought it was her. And the scene when she's like, she hasn't had sex, or she hasn't masturbated in like 69 days. But then it turns out she was secretly masturbating because, yeah, Queenie caught her like getting up at night. And yeah, there's not much to say about her. She's just kind of there. And a lot of people say she's like the worst plus size representation. And I'm not going to comment on that since I'm not a plus size person myself. Well, I am, I don't know. I wouldn't count myself as a plus size person, but so I'm not going to comment on if it's a good representation or not. I'm just going to listen to what other people say. If they say it's bad, then it's bad. Yeah, the next character I will talk about is Ronan. So Ronan is a new character to the show. He starts off being a love interest for Malachi, and then he does a 360. He does a full 360, sorry. I had a feeling from the beginning that there was something fishy about him. So when it was revealed he was Bird's psycho, I was like, I knew it. I knew you were Bird's psycho. The whole his brother dying plot, that really shocked me. So the fact that he was imagining him the whole time, I was like, wow, that surprised me. I hope he gets the help he needs, because locking Harper and Amory in that room was very sad, because if it wasn't for Queenie, they definitely could have died. So I think he should get some help. Yeah, that's my thing. The next character I'll be talking about is Jojo. I really like her, and I like how she was worried about the children, and she wanted to go back, but the coach guy was like, oh no, give them another hour or whatever. Because if she had gone back, maybe Queenie would have been bitten by the spider. You can see that she actually cares about her students. She's not like that kind of teacher that's just in it for the money. Next character I'll be talking about is Woody. I thought she was a good teacher, and I like how she helped Harper with her driving. And if she had listened to Jojo, then I think a lot of the events that happened would have happened. But she's just mostly there, so yeah, that's how I mostly feel about her. So there's two characters I haven't mentioned. Well, I've mentioned there's two characters. There's Dusty, but he's mostly just there for the part with Darren, and he also has a scene with Cash when they're talking, and Dusty basically tells Cash that Darren told him that Cash is asexual, and he also talks about that Darren has always been like a very sexual person, saying about something about like two action figures. They used to make two action figures like kiss or make out or something. But that's mostly all we get with Dusty, and then there's also the bad guy, I don't remember his name. Crook. I think his name's Crook. So he's basically just there because he wants to recruit Cash back, and so he has a scene with Cash on the boat. That's the scene I was talking about earlier when he starts talking about Darren, and Cash just goes like, "Don't ever bring them up again." And yeah, so and it's also a scene when Darren, Quinny, and Anne-Marie go to his house, and when he like holds onto Darren, like onto the wall, I was like, that actually made me jump. But yeah, so that's all the characters. And now I'm going to say my thoughts on the season. So I thought it was a good season. There were some interesting parts about it, and I thought the episode was very funny and sad. Do I feel like I like the season way more than the season 1? I don't think I do. But I am still excited for season 3. I think this season was middle. Now I'm going to say update. So update thoughts is that I'm not sure which one I enjoy. I've been watching more season 2 than I have season 1. Season 1, I feel like I mostly liked it because of Quinny. Like, I didn't like the season because it had a lot of it had a lot of like awareness, like autism awareness, asexual awareness. But I feel like I mostly really liked it because of Quinny, because I wish I had an autistic character on my TV when I was growing up. So I feel like I mostly liked it because of her. So right now, I don't know if I prefer season 2 or season 1. I feel like I like both of them. So I don't know right now. But I might prefer season 2. I don't know. But yeah, that's how I feel about it right now. Maybe that might change. We'll see in the future. But that's all my thoughts on Heartbreak High season 1. No, that's all my thoughts on Heartbreak High season 2. So if I've forgotten anything, I'm sorry, but I think I mentioned all the main characters. And yeah, I did like the season. It was very like messy, but I like messy shows. So because even what's it called? Samantha and Pretty, that show is very messy. Especially season 2 is a mess, but I still like it. I prefer season 1, but season 2 is a mess. But yeah, that's all I have to say, guys. I should be having reviews very soon. The next review I want to do is Bridgerton season 3. So I'm planning to do that when the second part comes out, because you've got the first part that's coming out very soon, and then you've got the second part that comes out next month. So when the second part comes out, that's when I'm planning to do it. And I have concerts coming up, guys, as well. So I'm planning to do another concert video very soon. So yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss when I post. And I think I'll see you next time. Bye.